Okay, here we go. So thank you, Anise and Barb, for showing up. I'm going to share my screen. We're now official. So this first says about telling your story for the NAMI annual meeting. This is a special training. And this training has been newly adapted for telling your story remotely. We've trained hundreds of people since 2014 when it began at the NAMI National Conference, and most have been in person over several hours. This training breaks new ground by being remote and by being spread over 5 short interactions over several days, culminating in the March 27 annual meeting. We will get to the schedule in the next slide. But first, there's a few tips that I'd like to suggest to you. The slides contain all the training materials for people to tell their story. You'll get a hard copy to refer to later if you need it. The second thing I want to say is there's highlighted parts of the screen which indicate that you should prepare to contribute. When you see this pink-red highlighting, prepare to participate. And the third is we will record this session to make it better and will not share your participation with anyone outside NAMI without your permission. So do I have your permission to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I,
you.
I wasn't clear about the pink participate.
Mm-hmm. Say that again, Barb.
I can't remember what I said.
Okay.
What's going to signal you to prepare to participate?
Oh, the pink highlighting. I'll show you in a second.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question. And see that pink highlighting down there?
Yes.
That's a cue that we're going to ask you guys to step up to say something.
Okay.
Okay, good point. I will try to make that clearer. That's
Okay.
not clear. Thank you, Barb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's the schedule, and this schedule can be adaptable for you. But I wanted you to give a sense of how we're spreading this over time. We're going to do the story. We're doing the Story Jam training today on the 15th, and we're doing this by Zoom, and everyone is participating. On the week of the 22nd, we're going to have people call you by phone individually to help your story along, and that can be set up individually with Barb, Anise, or Tracy or myself. On the week of the 1st, March 1st, we'll reconvene by Zoom for about 30 minutes and everyone will read their first draft. So in that way, we'll get a sense for what we're going to say and we can give feedback and that'll help us prepare for the next week, which was the week we've set aside to finalize your story. And if we need to get in contact by phone, we will, but we'll just rely on you to say how you're doing with the story. On the 15th, then, of March 15th, a month from today, we will record your Zoom, and the Zoom will be done individually. So we'll set up a time, you can check in, we'll record the Zoom, and then we will edit these and put them all into one video file. And then on the 27th, March 27th, the annual meeting occurs, and that's when we hope you can come and take a bow for your participation and stories. So how does that seem to you guys, Barb and Anise? Does that seem okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here are the elements for a story. We'll cover these in detail later, but I just wanted to give you a quick preview of how NAMI has trained us to develop advocacy stories. The first is what happened that brought you to NAMI, what helped from NAMI in your life by participating as a leader, how are you different today than you were before, what is the general need or the problem, what will help others, and what can your audience, the people who are at the annual meeting, do? What are you asking them to? How are you asking them to help? So those are the general outlines of the story. We'll go into more detail, But, so I'm inclined not to dwell on this. What do you guys think? Because we're going to go into it in more detail later.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay,
I
Well-
think general outline is fine, Mark.
okay. Okay, the next slide, I want to talk to you about what is the annual meeting. Every year, we gather our members and non-members to, first of all, fulfill the bylaw requirements that we have created through our bylaws. That's by state law. The second is to advance our purpose. So what is the big picture for this annual meeting? We want to educate people about our work and enhance our identity and our unique identity as NAMI. We want to recruit support. We want to recruit support, both financial and human, both, money and people. And we want to, third, encourage, entice, and inspire that there's hope, that they're not alone, and that they can make a difference. So do you have other suggestions about what the big picture is we're trying to do with the annual meeting besides that?
Elect the officers.
Yeah, that's the bylaws.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can put that in there. I'll put that in there because that's a good one as an example. So, but the stories are really advocacy stories to encourage people to support NAMI. So what other reasons are there for supporting NAMI than the ones I've listed? Do you have any suggestions?
So,
Well, you
Educated.
mean to like to fight stigma and stuff like that?
Stigma is a great one. Okay, let me, I'm leaving this open so people can jump in and participate in this. So I don't want to have everything figured out. So, but stigma is one that I thought of, Anise, thank you.
and I see the pink highlighting, so
Yeah, exactly. So that's our cue that they will jump in and help us. Well, if we can't, maybe this won't work as a participatory thing, but we'll see. We won't dwell on it too long. So in other words, in conclusion, we want to advocate for NAMI. And this is, I really wanted to introduce this idea that we're advocating for our organization through these stories. Okay. Is that okay? Okay. Stories are the NAMI's core advocacy tool for working outside our organization. Most of the programs work with people who are already inside our organization, like, the education programs and the sport programs. Those people have already decided to sort of join our organization. Even if they're not become members, they're inside. But NAMI's advocacy has to deal with people outside the organization. And so the stories are really essential for that. NAMI is a grassroots membership organization of people with mental health conditions and their supporters. We all know that. All NAMI programs are based on the personal experience of volunteers, unlike professional treatment. And we appreciate treatment, but NAMI is different. Our personal experiences and stories make NAMI unique. So that's why stories are so important and why we really appreciate your willingness to add your stories to help NAMI. Your stories about NAMI help listeners see us up close. That is, they help give us contact with people that we don't normally see. And the stories of experiences change minds and motivate. That is, they educate people. And advocacy stories always focus on an ask. So one of the things I would sort of like to introduce is one person can maybe tell a quick story about what moved you to become or to stay a NAMI leader. Do you remember that far back, Barb?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I remember the first thing I got involved in was NAMI in our own voice.
That's right.
Yeah, that was many years ago, and then I had the opportunity to apply for the position of office manager.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. No. there-
So what did In Her Own Voice, what did that do for you? How did that help you?
Well,
What are you
it gave
missing?
me a sense, it helped me focus and gave me a sense of purpose.
Mhm.
And, you know, partially, I think a lot of people who go through mental health episodes or whatever feel like they want to give back
Mhm.
and share their experience with other people in the hopes that it might help
Uh-huh.
people avoid some of the things that can happen if you're not
Sure.
well taken care of.
Right. So what made you, well, how are you different today than before before you were with NAMI? How do you, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, before NAMI, I was often very, very ill, and it happened again during my tenure at NAMI.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it was, you know, the support from other people, and also I think, you know, talking to people who are going through things and being able to have some concrete things to hand out to people is
Mhm.
been very helpful for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going through a few of the questions that we went through before about the elements of a story. I don't want to go through them all, but thanks for telling us about why you became a leader. I mean, I think it sort of speaks to the fact of the kind of story that could make a difference to people who are outside the organization and need to be motivated to do more with us and help us more.
Mhm.
And also could help people stay with it. I mean, by reminding them of why they became involved with it.
Are you getting feedback, Mark, or is it just
I'm hearing a little bit,
yeah?
but is that annoying? Is it
It's better now, I think.
okay? Okay, sorry. I don't know what it
Or-
was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to skip on. Thanks, Barb. Anise, what do you think of this exchange as an observer?
Um, I think I would agree with Barb's points, and I think she gave a good example.
Right.
So I don't know how much more I would add, except for it gave me a sense of efficacy that I was making a change in in my in the world, and it gave me
Yeah.
a sense of efficacy.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do in this slide is to indicate why people should advocate for NAMI and how important it is and how our stories advance that.
I think the stories, and also it's a fresh breath of air to be taken seriously as having something to contribute rather than being just a person who's being served.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Let me write that down.
I forgot already what it was.
Fresh breath of air as someone who contributes rather than just being served.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Barb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go on. And now we shift into this issue of consent. And there is a consent form we're going to send. I think I sent it to you all. It's very formal, but I might ask people to read the permission form and ask questions if they have questions. And to give your consent, you can write for this training, you can write "I agree" in the chat message. And if you're uncertain, you can write "maybe later." But that will give me an idea that we have consent for us to continue. So that's why that the first thing is we want to make sure that people give us some kind of consent and understand. And these are the things that I think are important to understand under number 2. Harm from your participation is unlikely in this project of storytelling, and it may give you some satisfaction. You control use of your stories. Number 2, you control use of your stories, and we have to ask you each time your story is used. The third thing is you can change your story content at any time just by letting us know.
Mhm.
And the fourth is just the summary issue. You statement, you own your story. And we take that very seriously. So this is the point where I'd ask people to write, I agree, or ask questions. Do you have any questions about this consent
No,
issue?
I think that's fine.
Okay, I really feel important. It's really important to get this right up in front so
Mhm.
people understand that we're not going to use their story unless they give us permission, and they can change it. Okay, so what the next slide reviews some of the things we found in the past to make advocacy stories effective. So there's a column of do's and a column of don'ts. And to be effective, a story really should be short, between 2 to 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and concise and focused on an ask. What do you want people to do for you as an advocate? The don'ts have to do with being rambled, unfocused, with no ask, because people think, well, why is this person talking to me? What do they want? And it's really important to have an ask, because then you can say right up front, this is what I want you to do for us. The second point is that to be sincere and enthusiastic. And sometimes that can merge over into being emotionally overwhelming. And that's something we want to avoid. Everybody can go into a state where about something that they can think of in their lives, which becomes overwhelming to them. I know I can. But so it's important to be sincere and enthusiastic without being overwhelming. Just because it makes you become the focus of what and your story is, rather than the ask. So it's that's why I think it's important not to become overly emotional. The third thing is to be empathic with your audience and really listen and try to listen to what they want to know, as opposed to being a know-it-all or dominating. I think everybody can go with that one. The fourth point is to be motivating and relatable. And so many times people who advocate engage in shaming or judgmental activities, and that demotivates people and is totally unrelatable, in my opinion. The fifth point is to be hopeful for recovery. And the don't side of that is to be despairing and overly critical. So you have to, good stories give people hope for engagement, even in desperate situations. Sometimes we face. So my question is: do you have any questions about these do's and don'ts, or do you think of others that you might add to that list? Or something that maybe made you a little uncomfortable?
Not really.
Well, that's a good sign. How about
Um,
you, Anise?
well, I think the last time we did this, I put relatable in, and that's the
Oh,
only,
oh, did you?
yeah,
You've been to the fair before? Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
right. Of course.
yeah, so I think this is a culmination of our efforts, and I
Yeah.
think it's a pretty good list, Mark.
Okay. Cool. I also added the check. The X and the check for do's and
Yeah,
don'ts.
I
As a
like
little.
that. I noticed that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like
Cool.
that.
Okay. I'll go on then. Here are some ideas for your ask. And I put that graphic up there because an ask can be an ask for assistance, tips, support, guidance, a lot of different things, advice or help. So here's an example of an ask that would go into a story. My ask is that you, by listening to my story, will feel inspired to join us and support NAMI, mental health, and our work to improve the lives of people with mental health conditions. So the whole purpose then in these stories is to describe how you became inspired joined NAMI, and helped people with mental health conditions. So that's just an example of an ask. I think the notion of an ask is fairly weird, to tell you the truth, and takes a little bit. Is that your sense? It's a little bit of a term of art that's not common.
Yeah, I think I've heard it in different contexts, but
Yeah.
it's not everywhere.
Yeah. I use it because that's what NAMI has used. So I've never really tried to improve upon that word, but so what do you think, Anise? Is this okay? We're okay?
I'm a little confused, Mark.
Okay.
Aren't they already supporting NAMI?
Yes.
So we're asking them to support NAMI more, or?
Yes, we're asking the people who listen to the story, the audience, at the annual meeting, we're asking for their additional support.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I see, and that thing at the bottom really threw you off. Okay, I'll work on that a little bit. Okay.
I think I get it now, Mark. I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I probably will take that last little paragraph out. I think that just doesn't do anything but confuse things. So.
Okay.
Okay. So now what we would do in the training, like we did before, you guys, when we trained before, was just read a story aloud. Now, Pat and Gazem are working on developing a sample story that fits this situation better than the standard NAMI story. So I don't want to read a story now because we're going to have, the sample stories are just very generic, and they thought it was it would be confusing to people. So they're working on another sample story.
Great.
Okay, and then we can go through the steps after reading of why something is, our words are powerful and useful and informative and evocative, So the last paragraph really says you can write a powerful for story 2, just follow the steps, the 7 steps. So then the next step, that's the end. We just start writing the story, and we'll stop in 15 minutes and read the story, what you've got so far.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Sounds good.
And, there would be 15 minutes of time here that people would be writing. And then at the end of that, would ask for a few people to volunteer how they've started. And of course, it's going to be a partial story, but it's a way of getting started. So what do you think? I think
I think this will really motivate the board. I really think personal stories help motivate people.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, this will be done with those 6 volunteers. We've got 2 from family to family, 2 from peer to peer, and 2 from the support groups. I think
Mm.
those are the people we're training in this. But we could also, actually, you're right, Anise, we could use this for our board.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. And then the compiled stories on video will be presented at the annual meeting.
I was confused, Mark.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why we did those 5 steps in the beginning, because it is confusing. Yeah. Okay, well, Barb, do you have any
Words of
wisdom or?
words of hope, and I think this is great. I think people will appreciate the process.
Yeah.
The volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit mechanical because there's the 7 steps, but it really does help to frame things in a way that that stories have some consistency and flow to them.
Yeah.
So, and it keeps them short. The 3 to 4 minute thing is really important because we have 6 stories. 4 minutes would be 24, almost half an hour, and it's going to take time to segue between people. So
Yeah.
I think that's really important. Shortness is really important in these situations.
Yeah. So I'm trying to envision how it's going to look on the day of the annual meeting.
Mhm.
So it will all be zoomed and you'll share the screen?
Yeah, there's gonna be a 2-hour estimate. I've got the thing in front of me. And then, let's see. There's gonna be, oh yeah, the third item is programming stories and chat and question and answers, 20 minutes. So they, first of all, they, oh, is that, yikes. I'm getting some feedback now. So the first item is the welcome introduction, 3 minutes, the board member introduction for 15 minutes, and the voting. And then the story jam comes in here with the 6 stories for 20 minutes. And then the annual report with financials for 5 minutes, the volunteer update and opportunities for 5 minutes, advocacy update and opportunities for 5 minutes, and then the diversity, equity, and inclusion update. Then there's an intermission for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we have the keynote speaker, which is Judge Valvo, I guess. That's how it's going to be, the agenda.
Okay.
I think it's going to be jammed to get these done. I mean, if we have, really, we're talking 2 to 3 minutes for max stories. If they've allocated 20 minutes, that means, and actually I think we have 6 participants. So that if it's 3 minutes, it's 18 minutes completely. And then they have chat, question and answers. And I don't really see that there's going to be any time for that.
So these people will be in attendance at the,
Well, they can be. Hopefully they would say, and thank you.
oh yeah, they take a bow,
They
right?
can take a bow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't talk. Don't say anything. We don't have time for that. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. It's a good question. That's out of my pay grade, actually. So,
Okay.
Mark,
but yeah, I mean,
I guess I'm a little confused about who exactly is at the annual meeting.
there'll be invitations will be sent to all the members
Okay,
of the organization, who pay their $15 or whatever. And then also we will invite people from our agencies like CMH and, Avalon, who knows? Maybe some of those people will come. I suspect somebody from CMH like Lisa Gantz will come because she's such a stalwart. Maybe Trish will come. We'll invite somebody from the sheriff's department. I suspect Kathy Wyatt will come, and maybe Derek Jackson. So that kind of thing.
and then the board will be there as well?
The board will be there, take a bow, and
Okay.
get voted and stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, so the annual meeting is mandated by the bylaws.
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, we're a membership organization, and the membership organizations by law have to have a meeting every year to show that their members exist.
Okay, okay. To show that members exist, that's
Yeah.
great. Mhm.
Well,
We're not
so
hallucinating this.
we're not, yeah, right. We're actually, they have a function. And, it's also we used to use the Paths to Recovery to promote the membership aspect of NAMI and had the annual meeting there, but much to my disappointment, we decided not to do Paths to Recovery.
Okay.
I'm secretly lobbying for another Paths to Recovery.
We need to do something.
Yeah, we need to do something, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the picture. I mean, any ideas, any thoughts that you have when you go back and look at this and say, well, this maybe in this training we need to make sure they understand what the annual meeting format is, because your questions were really good. So maybe I need to include a slide about what the annual meeting.
I think so. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but that's really pretty important. I'll do that right after. Oh, I have a slide that says what is the annual meeting, so I'll just expand on that.
That would be helpful, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Well, this is why you have to pre-test all these things. You never do anything like this cold.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to run it by somebody, definitely.
Yeah, you have to get the words out and,
Yeah,
make it sound like you're not reading from some prompter or something.
can you go back to where it says the 7 steps, the slide that,
Sure. There. Those are 6 steps. The first step is an introduction,
okay.
but these are actually the 7 steps without the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll add the introduction.
I think
Otherwise,
so.
that's going to be confusing.
Yeah. You're calling them elements.
Yeah,
And then,
I'm going to change that to steps. That's a good point. And add the introduction. Okay, yeah, of course. Why do that if it's not?
did you refer to the steps later on, or is it?
We do go through the steps back. We do, so we go through the steps with a sample story.
Just follow the 7 basic steps.
Yeah.
So the connection between the first
Yeah.
side needs to fit
To
with
bridge.
This. Yeah.
Gotcha. Excellent. Okay, here, and I'll put I'll say, okay, this is where we're going to do the 7 steps.
That we talked about.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that makes
That's
perfect sense.
That helps clarify it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And people can remember 7 steps. It's like, remember that Hitchcock movie, The 7 Steps?
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's got steps.
Yeah. Baby steps
Baby
sometimes.
steps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Wow, thanks so much. This is very helpful. I will pass this recording on to Denise to Gizem and Pat, and let them see that we've given it some consideration. They can add their points as well.
Okay.
Or I can do this again anytime. This is, really nothing once it's into a presentation format. So, okay.
I need to look at the calendar again.
Okay.
Did you send that to us already?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
There's the calendar.
Okay, so next week is when you're looking to do the training.
Yes.
Okay.
That's already set up for an hour on Monday.
What time?
Oh, of course I haven't told you. It's a secret. Okay. 6 p.m.
Okay.
And it's for an hour, and I think we can do it in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So can you guys come?
I'm just looking at my calendar. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna try to get Tracy, because I'd like Tracy to be exposed to this, even though she, I don't know if she's ready to join in, but she seems eager to participate. So
Yeah.
Okie doke. So that is really where, on the week of the 22nd, the next week, is when we'll call those guys back and do what we did before to help them get their stories going.
Okay.
And that's going to be varied. I mean, some people will have finished it and some people won't have done anything, you know that.
Mhm.
And then we'll bring them back on the first, probably, I hope we can do it at the same time on Monday, the first. And everybody will read their story and get excited and finalize it with some edits and suggestions. And then on the 15th, we'll record, then on the 8th, we'll call them back again, say, how you doing? Do you want to practice it before you record it? We're just being supportive, really. And then on the week of the 15th, we'll set up individual times that they can call in on a Zoom and record their story.
Okay. I've never recorded on Zoom, so someone will have to show me how to do
Oh,
that.
good point. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll have a practice session.
Okay, because I can't do it on my phone, so.
No. And then yeah, we'll figure that out. That's going to
Okay.
take a little figuring out. I'm not,
Okay.
I can do it on this end, but yeah, okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
but I can do the rest of it, Mark. I can do the
Super.
rest of it.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you so much,
Yeah.
Anise.
Yep,
Great.
sure. Sounds like fun.
All right, I think it will be. It really is spreading it out a little bit more structured than what we did with Avalon, but I think it's going to work better this way because we didn't really record the final stories.
Right,
Um,
right.
And
Right,
that'll be a
right.
big change. And then we'll have those stories available sort of in the can for anything we want to do at any point.
Yeah, that'll be nice. You know what would be nice is to put them on the website.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be nice to have some testimonials.
Yeah. Right. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I agree. That's why I think this was really worth doing because it's kind of pushing us to go to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, this remote stuff is really a little more complicated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
I'm beat.
Go, go
Yeah.
relax, Mark. Go
Thanks.
relax.
I'm
Your
gonna
red
stop
is a
sharing. Yeah, okay. Thanks so much. And I really appreciate your participation. It really helps.
okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Take
Okay.
care, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Keep you
You too.
posted.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.